Hello, cinephiles, and welcome to Silver Screen Sips, a podcast where two idiots talk about movies. And today we're talking about Rocky IV.
Today we're going to talk about the end of communism.
Yes, ending the Cold War once and for all. Just a reminder, there are spoilers ahead for movies and TV shows you may not have seen yet, so just know that you've been warned. Here's the thing, guys.
She's going to get it out.
I'm sure most of you...
She's going to get it out.
Yeah, it's getting there. I think we touched on this in the last episode, but if some of you don't know, Isaiah's going to Japan soon.
I'm going to the land of 2D.
His home, his real home.
My real home.
So because of this, he's going to be gone. How long are you gone? Like 10 days or something?
10 days.
10 whole days. So for that reason,
using all them vacation days.
Yeah. For that reason, we're obviously recording these episodes ahead of time. So these are being done way before they actually come out. This episode probably won't be out for a good 2 to 3 weeks. So because of that, we don't have any headlines today for This Week in Hollywood, because by the time that this actually premieres, all the headlines are probably very old news, or there's been updates, you know? And I think last episode I said that we'd be back with headlines this episode, but I lied, and I'm so sorry for breaking your trust.
He's very, very, special in the head. Sorry. It was the homeschooling. It was really the homeschooling.
It really was. Episode 5, next episode, we will be continuing with This Week in Hollywood, because by then Isaiah will be back from Japan and he can tell us all about his experience, unless he decides to stay there and we never hear from him again.
I was thinking about it. I was thinking, what if I just said, you know what, my ticket is transferable. Why don't I just stay? Because you technically could live off of bento boxes and 7-Eleven.
Yeah,
for like
that is the best way to live.
Hey man, that's it.
Yeah. I am excited to hear about your trip, but yes, we do apologize for not having any headlines today. I don't know. I mean, the last episode we did our little game. Can we do something this episode to make up for it?
Yeah. Do you have a game?
I have the same game we played, but we suck at that. Okay, so to replace today's This Week in Hollywood episode, Isaiah and I have decided to do the first game that we talked about last episode, where we pick 2 movies at random and pick the better out of the 2 options. We've pulled up a random movie generator, and Isaiah's going to pick a random number that's going to pick a genre for us. And then we're going to hit randomize, and boom, a movie will be provided. And then we'll do it again and pick the best out of the 2. So what's the number we got?
Number 2.
Adventure. Okay, there we go. All right, first option, Jumanji. Okay, welcome to the jungle.
We've actually seen this one. Okay.
Okay, this is the one with The Rock, not Robin Williams, the classic. This is the Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. That is our first option. Versus Shrek Forever After.
Jumanji wins. Jumanji wins.
Yeah. If it was Shrek 1, that might have changed things.
Yeah, but Shrek Forever is probably my least favorite Shrek.
Yeah. All right. So Shrek Forever After, you're fucking out of here. Jumanji wins. Jumanji actually wasn't that terrible.
No, it wasn't. I actually liked it.
All right. What's our next genre?
15.
Okay. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16. Rom-com. Woohoo.
Oh, God.
All right. Okay. Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Never seen it.
Oh, or Grease.
Is this would you consider this a comedy?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's more of a musical, but it's also, I would say, a rom-com.
Okay. All right. Grease versus...
Okay. Pretty in Pink.
Pretty in Pink. Woo! Okay. We got it.
Pretty in Pink or Grease for rom-com. I think Pretty in Pink is the winner in terms of better rom-com.
You know what? Yeah, I'd give it. John Hughes. I give it to John Hughes.
Yeah. I mean, to me, Grease is more of a musical and a romantic movie than... that's kind of funny, but I wouldn't say it's funny.
I wouldn't say that their main genre is comedy.
Correct. Okay, yeah, so Pretty in Pink wins best rom-com between that and okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's do a couple more.
19.
Okay, that is Thriller. Oh, here we go. I love me a good thriller. Taken 3. Not Taken. Taken 3.
The third one.
Have you seen it?
I have, unfortunately.
I have not, but we'll use it. I know the premise.
Yeah, it's very, very generic.
Someone gets taken. Okay,
Halloween.
here we go.
Never mind. Taken 3 beats Halloween. Oh, wait, sorry. This is the first Halloween. Halloween beats the
No,
first.
this is the last Halloween. Look how
No.
old she is.
What? No, this is Halloween 2018. That Halloween
Yeah.
kills or ends.
Oh. I thought you meant this is the original, and I was like, "There's no way she looks so fucking old." Okay.
I mean, like it's the first one of the new ones.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got for thrillers, we have Halloween, the 2018 rendition,
Versus
and
Taken 3.
Taken 3.
Halloween. I would go Halloween.
Really? You're gonna go Halloween?
Yeah.
I honestly thought you were gonna say Taken.
If it was the first Taken, maybe. But Taken 3 is so terrible.
Yeah. I will also say Halloween was the better thriller.
Right,
but I also have not seen Taken 3, so okay.
Taken 3, you don't need to know much. 12.
9, 10, 11. Horror.
Okay.
This I might know more of. Okay, Midsommar.
Never seen it.
Oh, you haven't?
I have not seen Midsommar. No, I don't.
That's in our listeners' episode suggestions. You should pick it.
We'll see.
Why? Are you too scared to watch it?
I don't like. What's his name?
Ari Aster? You don't like Ari Aster?
I don't like him. I think his horror hits a very specific vein that I am like, nope, that's definitely something that's gonna haunt me for real.
Okay, good. Okay, I thought you were gonna say you didn't like it, like because he was bad.
No, I think he's too good at his job.
Okay, all right. You're okay then. I'm not gonna kill you. Okay, so we will not pick Midsummer. Really? Oh man. All right. Halloween Ends.
Oh God.
Halloween Ends.
Whatever is next is gonna win. So
Us.
Okay.
Have you seen it?
I have.
Okay, Us versus Halloween Ends. Are you kidding me?
I don't want to.
Wait, are you seriously going to say Halloween Ends wins?
No, I don't. You
don't like Us.
I don't like Us.
What's wrong with Us?
But no, it's Us pissing me off. Like, it's a good horror movie, and it is Jordan Peele, so it is way better than Halloween Ends. That's for sure. However, I have my problems with Us, given the fact that it's like how he wants to give you ambiguity and then straight up tells you what it is. Like, oh, you know what? The meaning, he literally says the meaning is what you want it to be. And then he tells you in the movie what the meaning is. And I'm like, you can't have both ways. You have to choose. And I don't like that.
Okay.
So that's my issues with Us. But like, it's way better than Halloween.
I was going to say, in the aspect of horror, which one creeped you out more?
Us.
Yeah. Freaking little crazy little creepy girl.
The Fire Kid kind of freaked me out.
Yeah, Fire Kid was creepy too. All right, that's a good one. I think Us definitely wins over Halloween Ends.
Yeah.
All right, what do we got?
9.
All right, that is Drama. Oh, Old Yeller? Are you fucking kidding me? Are you trying to make me cry right?
I mean, I've read the book, but I've never seen it.
Oh, well, if you've read the book, you've basically kind of seen the movie, I think. You understand the story, you know?
Yes.
So do you want to keep this in the running or?
Let's see what else is there.
All right, just remember Old Yeller. Okay, Black Swan.
Let's go. Okay.
Black Swan versus Old Yeller.
Black Swan. Black Swan wins.
Black Swan, 100%. As much as I love Old Yeller, Black Swan is one of my favorite movies of all time.
That is
such a good movie. For drama, most certainly. All right, let's do one more.
16. Have we done that yet?
Okay. Sci-fi. Here we go. The Lost World, Jurassic Park.
Okay.
All right. That's option number 1. Number 2. Oh, Glass.
Oh, wow.
That's actually kind of tricky. They're both kind of bad. I kind of liked Jurassic Park 3. I know it gets a lot of hate.
Oh, The Lost World is 2.
I know Jurassic Park 2 gets a lot of hate. Okay, so I think out of the two, Jurassic Park, I think is better sci-fi than Glass.
Yeah.
If it was split, it might be a different answer. Or even if it was Unbreakable, it would probably be a different answer. But Glass just sucked.
Yeah.
Compared to Jurassic Park.
Yeah, I definitely give it to Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
And that damn puddle, bro. That puddle is what ruined that movie.
That damn puddle. Yeah. Let's move on from whatever that segment was called to Big Lou's Big Brews, brought to you by Isaiah.
Hello.
Hi.
So today we're going to be doing and drinking and creating the Red Russian cocktail, brought to you by mixologyhq.com. The Red Russian cocktail is a modern twist on the classic White Russian drink. This contemporary version of the cocktail has become increasingly popular due to its unique blend of flavors, which is sure to delight any palate. The drink is an interesting history that begins in Russia. Really? It makes its way around the world. I believe that the delightful drink originated in St. Petersburg, Russia during the 19th century.
Oh, different St. Petersburg. There's a St.
Yeah,
Petersburg.
I'm sure the Russian cocktail came from St. Petersburg, Florida.
Yeah. Whoops.
During the 19th century, when vodka, very Russian, was first being produced for public consumption. Over time, bartenders began experimenting with adding liqueurs into vodka drinks and eventually came up with what we know as the White Russian, a combination of vodka, cream or milk, and a coffee liqueur like Kahlua. My favorite.
So good.
God, I love
So
that.
good.
Which quickly gained popularity throughout Europe. Now,
if anyone ever wants to buy Isaiah and I drinks, buy us White Russians.
We will love you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you give us enough White Russians, you'll hear me say it. Anyway.
How do we make this drink, Isaiah?
We need 1 ounce of vodka. I don't know.
Okay.
Choose your poison. Svedka.
Disgusting. You just named like my least favorite vodka.
Really?
Yeah, I have Svedka and I have a history. It's complicated.
It is. You know what? I'll give you that. I prefer top shelf Grey Goose. Or
Grey Goose isn't bad.
Grey Goose isn't bad. What's the other one? Ciroc.
I like the one you said. Grey Goose. Tito's. Tito's is classic. Smirnoff is fine if you're mixing it with shit.
I would never drink that stuff like straight up.
No.
Anyways. Tito's though, like if you need to get it done, Tito's will do it.
Yeah. But anyways. Okay, so
you need 1 ounce of vodka, choose your poison, and then ounce of cherry liqueur Heering. Heering? Heering.
Heering?
Heering.
Probably Heering. Herring, I mean, sorry.
Red herring. Ha ha ha.
Mm-hmm.
So you fill those up. You fill a rocks glass with ice cubes. Pour in the vodka and cherry liqueur and stir lightly. Garnish with a mint or sprig of rosemary if desired, and enjoy. It's pretty straightforward. It literally is just you're replacing like the cream and the coffee liqueur with a cherry liqueur instead. Which
I mean, at that rate, you putting anything with vodka then is a twist on a White Russian. Like that is the most far stretched phrase.
But yeah.
They're like, oh, it's like a White Russian, but it has none of the same ingredients except it has vodka in it. It's like, okay, so does 50,000 other cocktails.
That's hilarious.
Okay, so let's discuss. I mean, there's really not much to discuss. It's 2 ingredients, but what do you think?
I would give it a 5 out of 5. I think I probably like it. I like cherries. I like cherry flavored drinks.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds pretty easy to make, and it sounds really good. I've never tried cherry liqueur Heering. Heering is a brand, but it sounds good. So yeah, I would also say a 5 out of 5.
Look at this.
Who would have thought? Well, that was an easy one. Thanks, Lewis. And a lovely little photo can be found on our Discord if you'd like to take a look, or go to our website and it's on there as well. Well, let's move on by taking a moment to thank our sponsor of today's episode, Shaker and Spoon. It is a monthly subscription service that gives you bar quality recipes and ingredients designed by award-winning mixologists. Their latest box, Mescaloween 3, a shocker in Oaxaca box. I hope I'm not butchering that. Features amazing cocktail recipes for tequila lovers with a spooky twist. If you'd like your very own box to drink along with us, then head over to shakerandspoon.com and use our promo code SIPS10 to get $10 off your first subscription. Again, that's promo code SIPS10, SIPS10 to get $10 off. Thank you, Shaker and Spoon, for sponsoring our podcast. All right, Isaiah.
Yeah?
I've got a great question for Beth's question of the day. Here it is. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. So in Rocky 4, Rocky trains in a very isolated home in the middle of nowhere in Russia.
Mm-hmm.
And what, in my opinion, seems to be the most badass training he's ever done.
Lift some logs, punch some
It's
cows.
Just straight man shit. And a man. So my question is, what would be your ideal training location if you could train anywhere? And it doesn't have to be like a legitimate real place. It has to be somewhat realistic. Like, don't be like, oh, I want to train in outer space. It has to be like within this realm.
Within this primordial realm.
Yes. What would be your ideal training location?
It's funny.
Like, you know those shits you see on Instagram where it's like, if you know your best friend, which apartment are they choosing? Like that.
But you want me to choose the training location for myself.
Yes.
So I'm my own best friend in this scenario.
Well, it's not far off from the truth. So,
Wow. Okay. I don't know. Well, first off, you're asking me to find a place that I would train in, which is funny given that we're art students. We don't do that.
well, let's say you trained somehow. It doesn't have to be necessarily boxing, but just like somewhere where you would perfect your skills.
Perfect my skills.
For me, I could go train in a dojo or whatever the fuck.
I would love to see you train in the middle of like an isolated mountain in the snow.
Do you know how funny it is that that's kind of what I wrote down?
What, that you would? That's where you would go.
Oh, in the snow, no, but we'll get to it. Let's hear your answer first.
I don't know. I really don't know. It would definitely be a air conditioned place. It would be temperature controlled. That's for sure.
So you would train indoors.
It would definitely be indoors. It would be in a temperature controlled glass place in the middle of nowhere, probably. Actually, you know what? Ferris Bueller in Ferris Bueller's Days Off, it is the room where it is the house where Cameron lives, where the Ferrari sits.
That's where you would train.
Yeah, isolated, temperature controlled. No one's there, but I get this
with like the woods all around you.
Yeah. There we go. If I need to be in isolate, there you go. That's my isolated place.
Okay, that's not a terrible answer.
Cameron's garage from Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
I want to train in Cameron's garage. Oh man. Okay. Sure. Yeah. That's good. I think I would like to be like a nice serene mountaintop, like dojo type thing, where there's like waterfalls and nobody around but me and whoever's training me. And then you said I would like it to be air conditioned. I would just like the weather to be nice all the time so I could train outside.
In this primordial realm?
Mm-hmm. Well, just like I would just pick a good timing to do it, like fall, you know? So yeah, that would be my answer. Serene mountaintop dojo type thing.
Pick up that log.
Honestly, yeah. Then just be like, here's an axe, cut down that tree. That is your training. All right. Well, thanks, Isaiah, for telling me you want to train in Cameron's house.
Yeah.
Shout out Cameron.
You know, the house was on the market a few years ago.
Yeah, I just was looking it up when you were telling me about it. I looked it up and I saw that. What do you got for facts today? Anything good? Anything bad?
I actually have a lot of facts because this movie is amazing.
Okay. Can you? I was going to get a snack, but it's okay. I'll wait. I was going to eat the snack while you told me. Like
you
popcorn.
You should probably get it now.
All right. I'll be right back, guys. What you got?
All right. We got a lawsuit on our hands.
Oh, boy.
I love it. Not really, but like, I always look for a lawsuit.
It's been a while since a lawsuit happened.
It has, yes. Now, the script development was the subject of a famous lawsuit called Anderson versus Stallone.
Oh, boy.
Timothy Anderson developed a treatment for Rocky IV on spec, which basically means that he made like a speculative script based on the characters that from Rocky. After the studio decided not to buy his treatment, he sued when the resulting movie script was similar to his treatment. The court held that Anderson had prepared an unauthorized derivative work of the characters Stallone had developed in Rocky 1 through 3, and thus no part of his infringing work was eligible for copyright restriction. So basically he was suing, saying that his work was stolen, but also like he did it based off of characters that weren't his. So they're like, well, that's our stuff.
Yeah.
So we're kind of going to do whatever we want with them. And if it's similar.
Interesting way to get around it.
That is true. However, they did settle out of court confidentially with him after the lawsuit. So I'm not sure what happened there, but they did. Apparently, someone must have felt that he had like some type of a fighting notion. But the courts did side with Stallone and MGM, saying that because it's derivative work, it's not his to copyright since it's already copywritten. So interesting lawsuit, but apparently it's very famous. So there's that one. Now the fight that this movie is based that inspired this movie was inspired by Joe Louis versus Max Schelling from the 40s, in which Louis represented America and Schelling represented Nazi Germany, as he had a lot of Nazi and Hitler backing when he was fighting. So Stallone was like, I like the fact that this is going to be basically America versus Russia. I like this idea.
Good timing, too.
Yeah. Arnold Schwarzenegger helped train Dolph Lundgren to make sure that he was in the right shape for the film.
That's Ivan.
Ivan Drago, yes, played by Dolph Lundgren. One day before training with Stallone, Lundgren was asleep in his room when Schwarzenegger showed up with a cigar in his mouth and yelled, "It's your trainer, I'm here to check your abs." There's like videos of them, like they still work out at Gold's Gym in California, and they just hang out. That's where they met 40 years ago.
How cute.
They're just chill. It was because apparently that's where they met 2 years before the movie, and they were talking about, and Schwarzenegger was training for Conan the Barbarian, and then that's how he kind of got him a role in Conan the Barbarian. So yeah, interesting friendship they got. Now Stallone wanted Dolph Lundgren to hit him for real, as per usual.
Of course.
And then Dolph Lundgren ended up punching Stallone so hard in the chest that his heart swelled up, and he ended up in the ICU for 4 days.
Jesus Christ.
However, Lundgren says he has no memory of this, but that if Stallone keeps on saying that it's happened, it probably did.
How do you not remember that?
He did say that like that there was so many days of like training and fighting that he doesn't remember when it could have happened. That if it did happen, he might have done it, but like that a lot of the hits would connect, and sometimes you just wouldn't realize it.
Oh wow!
Now we're gonna talk about Polly's robot.
Oh my God! Please, let's do that.
Polly's robot is real.
Like a real robot?
It is a real robot created by International Robotics Incorporated in New York City. The robot is identified by its engineers as Sicko, as in SICO, and was a member of the Screen Actors Guild.
What?
So yeah, if it's still a member, it needs to be on strike right now. It even toured with James Brown in the 1980s.
Oh my God.
This robot was written into the movie after it had been used to help treat Stallone's autistic son, Sergio. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, so Stallone has a son. His name is Sergio Stallone. He's autistic, and apparently Stallone came across like this robot and stuff, and it helped his son like kind of learn, and helped him. And so he's like, you know what, this is a great idea. And so him and the guy who runs International Robotics, they got to talking, and he wanted to give it like more like publicity, I guess. So he put the robot in the movie.
That's actually kind of cool.
The training scenes that are set in Russia. All right, so your little snowy outgoing place you want to go is actually in Wyoming.
I was going to say there's no way they actually filmed in Russia during the Cold War.
No, it was in Wyoming.
Yeah,
the farm is located in Jackson Hole, and most of the exterior shots were filmed in the Grand Teton National Park.
I think it's Teton.
Now Stallone feels that the original fight between Creed and Drago was too much of a slaughter, and wished it showed Creed didn't go down without a fight, which is what he did when he re-edited the movie for the 35th anniversary director's cut.
That's the one I watched.
Oh, then you saw the
director's cut.
You saw the director's cut. You saw what he actually wanted to do with it.
Yeah, it was the one that was on Netflix.
Now, Stallone regrets killing off Creed and wishes he could have done more of a mentor arc for the character, like he becomes in the Creed franchise.
Yeah, I do too.
Stallone has been quoted as saying the enormous financial success of the fan following of Rocky IV once had him envisioning another Rocky movie devoted to Drago and his post-boxing life, with Balboa's storyline running parallel to Drago's. However, he noted that the damage from both boxers sustained in the fight made them incapable of reason, and thus instead planned Rocky V as a showcase of the danger of boxing, which didn't come to fruition because then we got what Rocky V actually turned out to be, which
I don't know what it's about, so don't spoil that yet.
I've seen it, and we will talk about it when we talk about it.
Yeah.
And for our final fact, on Friday Night with Jonathan Ross 2001, Sylvester Stallone was asked to give each Rocky score out of 10. He gave this one. He gave this one a 7.5.
What?
Yes.
How?
I don't know. I really don't. He gave this one a 7.5.
Sylvester, wait, Sylvie, what are you doing?
Sylvie. And those are all my facts.
Great job.
I try.
Very well done. Lawsuit was interesting. Love a good lawsuit.
Love a good lawsuit.
All right, so let's discuss Rocky 4. I'm gonna actually go first this time because I don't have a lot of notes, like at all, because I was kind of just mesmerized the whole time by the movie. Like I was like really just drawn into it, and I just didn't think. I kind of just forgot to write notes, but I did write some. Yeah. So we were just talking about Apollo's death. I honestly was in disbelief even during the funeral scene. I literally thought it was going to be a fake out or something. I was watching and I was like, he's not dead. He didn't die. He's not dead. Like that's someone else's funeral. And they're trying to make you think that he's dead. But no, he's dead. And I was honestly really pissed off about it. I was like, what the fuck? That was like, why kill off Paulie? I don't give a shit about Paulie. Like, I was like, damn, I really liked Apollo and like Rocky's relationship. And it just felt so like, I don't know, sudden and serious. Like, just like, holy shit, that fight literally killed him. Like, that's just insane. I thought maybe like he'd be hospitalized and he'd be like, kind of like how Adrian was like in a coma. And it's like, we don't know if she'll wake up, but like, obviously she's going to wake up kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And like, that's what I thought would happen with him. But nope, they nixed him. So that kind of upset me a little bit. The robot. Is Paulie fucking the robot? Like, what is the storyline here?
The pleasure bot.
Yeah, that's really kind of the vibe I was getting. It just felt so weird. And like, I think that was like an 80s thing. Because for any of those who have watched the show Glow, it's about wrestling, but it's like female wrestling. And it also takes place during like the 80s and stuff. There's a scene in one of the seasons where they go to this rich person's house and they have a very similar robot and whatnot. So it must have been like an 80s craze.
I don't know, man. The 80s were weird.
80s were weird. But yeah, that just felt really weird and kind of like not out of place, but I was just like, what are you doing here? But now that you told me like the story behind it, I'm still like, what the fuck are you doing here? I do think that this movie was definitely iconic and definitely the pinnacle for winning the Cold War. This, much like our past guest Alvin said, it is this and Top Gun were the pinnacles and the turning point for the Cold War, I think. And I agree. I thought the movie was good overall. The fighting was intense and it was like action packed. The story was well done. The characters, everything was pretty much top notch. So I gave it a 4 out of 5. I don't really have much else to say about it just because it was usually when I have a lot to say, it's usually cons. So that's a good thing that I don't have that many.
Touche.
What about you?
I went into this movie knowing that Creed dies, so that wasn't a big of shock to me because that
was a huge shocker to me.
I wish I could have experienced that.
Yeah,
because I know that was like, oh my god. Because I've always heard about it because I don't know. It's just I would call my parents grew up in the 80s. They love 80s movies, so yeah. So I kind of went into it knowing that in like the back of my head, so it didn't really surprise me. But I think it's interesting that you got to experience that. Like it's like finding out like Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, I was about to say Darth Vader.
Like,
yeah,
you're like you've always heard of it, and you're kind of like going into it knowing it, but like experiencing it is kind of crazy.
That's what I'm like. I'm so excited for like the younger generation, like my nephews, my nieces not so much, but my nephews, if they ever watch Star Wars, like I'm so excited for them to watch it and get like that big reveal.
Get them while they're young.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I was going to this, I was like, I'm ready for the most 80s macho movie ever. Like I'm fully prepared. Like I know we have to be treated differently than the rest of the Rocky movies because it's supposed to be like a product of a severe byproduct of the 80s. And I was like, I'm ready for it though. I'm ready for it. And it adds to its charm. The robot really was like threw me off. I'm like, yeah, this is exactly what I expect from like an 80s movie.
This is definitely the 80s, yeah.
And then the Living in America Creed intro, like this is yep. A full on music video right now. This is definitely 80s. Soundtrack super 80s and like, but it's a banger. It's a banger soundtrack.
It is.
When he landed in Russia, I was like, you know what? This movie could go full Rambo right now, and I'd believe it. And I'd be like, I'm down. Like he just goes, you know what? Screw the boxing. Let me get the guns. And just start shooting up Russia. I'd be like, yeah, that's something I expect. But he didn't. But like, but yeah, the movie's aggressively 80s and American, and I think it's hilarious. I think the fact that it is that way is funny, but like in the most fun way possible.
Mm-hmm.
And I gave it a 4 out of 5, and I like it because it's just so stupid, but like, in a fun way.
It's so stupidly good,
It's
you know?
oh, I was watching Cosmonaut Variety Hour. He was rating a bunch of superhero movies, and he put a category as delicious garbage. And that's what I think this is. It's not bad, it's just delicious garbage.
Yeah. It's like if this movie came out today, no, would not
No, it's
work.
not.
Would be just the worst fucking movie ever.
What is
But
the
it's
I do think to myself sometimes, what is the product of, like this movie is the product of 80s encompassed, right? What would you do with a movie that's encompassed of like the 90s or the 2000s, right? What is that movie? I would love to know what that movie is of just the encompassment of the culture of the time.
I think any like rom-com.
Rom-com.
Mean Girls. There you go.
Not a movie that like came out in 2000. It's like they kind of make sense that that's what it came out. No, I'm talking about like you think of the early 2000s, right? You got boy bands, you got Mean Girls, you got Tamagotchis, you got an iPad Nano, you got Pokemon cards, SpongeBob, everything's denim, Kanye West, those flip phones, the DSi, a
Yeah.
Bop It, those Rambo bands the silly bands that went around your arms when you took them off, they turned into like an animal. Gushers, crop tops.
Oh, Gushers, so good.
What do you call it? The big tube TVs with the VCR attached to it that were drilled into a rolling shelf that you came into the movies with. Those things that you would roll around on during recess, and then if you ran over your hands, it would basically break your fingers.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about. Like a movie that you watch and you're like, holy crap, this is aggressively early 2000s.
I will. I understand now what you're saying, and I'm going to say I think there are things out there that represent like whatever you want to say the 2000s. But I think we find them cringy compared to like the 80s. You know what I mean?
80s nostalgic. We find the 2000s cringy.
Like like in some, I can't think of a movie that has this scene, but there's been scenes where people are like, "Oh, let's take a selfie," and you're like, "Ew, who the fuck does that?" And you're like, "No, that was like what we fucking did," but it's just so cringy now. But like we look back at the 80s and we're like, "Oh my god, that's awesome. That's so 80s." It's like complete, like, I don't know. I think we're just ashamed.
The nostalgia factor hasn't hit in yet because there's people being nostalgic.
Yeah.
Like there's a few people that are like, oh, I know there's a bunch of kids on like TikTok and crap, and they're like, oh man, I'm nostalgic for 2013. And like, bro, you were in middle school in 2013. That is not that long ago. Why
Not
are you being
that. It's like
nostalgic for
10
that?
years ago. Yeah.
I'm sorry, you had an iPod. Sorry, you had an iPhone 10 instead of an iPhone 13. Like, what is the difference here?
Yeah. I will say I am nostalgic for the times where before phones were like before the iPhone, you know?
So 2008.
Yeah. I miss those times where like people just weren't on there. Even when the iPhone came out, there wasn't a lot of like social media yet. I guess before social media was as big as it is now. I miss those times. Yeah. Well, that's a side tangent. So, okay.
We just
So
turned
you
into like
gave
a
it-
philosophy class of
Yeah.
culture.
So you gave it a 4 out of 5?
I do give it 4 out of 5.
I do as well. It's fucking great. 4 for 4.
4 for 4.
Definitely not going to be a 5 for 5.
Probably not. No.
Probably not. Thank you, everyone, for listening to today's episode and joining us on this crazy coaster of insanity. Please be sure to send in your movie suggestions. We have an upcoming listeners episode that will be premiering the day before Halloween. So please send in any Halloween themed movies that you want us to watch and review. Oh, you can also send those at silverscreensibs@gmail.com, by the way. If you're not already, also be sure to follow us on Instagram for any and all updates regarding episodes, future guests, and anything else you can think of. You can find us pretty much everywhere, just at Silver Screen Sips, all one word. And we'll see you guys all next week with Rocky 5. And everyone wish Isaiah a good trip, even though this will be out by the time you're back.
Yeah.
It's a future manifesting or some bullshit. I don't fucking know.
Get your crystals.
See you guys. You guys say the thing.
What?
The thing. So we can end the episode.
Bye. Oh, Adrian!
There you go.